Hey guys, it's Hustlemon, and yeah, cheers for dropping by on today's video. So we are on episode number 6 of my investment binder series, and just a quick summary. Basically, every month I upload a video of this Mint Keeper top loader binder over here. Basically, my objective is I'm buying Pokemon single cards, and I want to see a nice cheeky little return in the future. I'm holding this binder to the year 2050, and that's basically going to be my little mini single cards portfolio over here. And it's either one of those things: either I get to cash it out, I get to give it to my daughter, anything like that. And I think it's my little fugal attempt to unite all trainers, collectors, and Pokemon investors into this one cool little like monthly series that I've got ongoing. Anyway, I just don't want to explain it too much. I'll pop the rules over here. I'm sure you're capable of reading. At least I freaking hope so you are. But there you go. You can follow the series. Anyone can, I think, can come along, because the whole point of it is I'm not spending ridiculous money. I'm purchasing, cards that I can see at a bargain and adding it onto the binder. So just a quick catch up of last month. No changes. First time ever. There's actually been no changes into the binder. We ended the last month collection value being £259, and right now it's still £259. I believe that is because Poke card values are still undergoing some maintenance and updates. They've added actually 2 recent drop down menus. They got the TCG player prices / the eBay, so that's obviously the American prices, then the UK eBay. Or if you are from the UK, you want to go with this option, eBay / TCG player, because if you look at the American value of these cards, massive dip in the market. Like genuinely, like Americans have got a lot better off. It's about currency differences, but also at the same time Americans just got access to more products than UK counterparts. I'm sticking to eBay only, so that's just basically it. If you are from the UK, stick to eBay / TCG player or eBay only. Obviously, with Poke Card Value doing their updates, I'm sure next month we'll have some sort of changes in the binder. If anything, because the single markets are starting to dip right now, I expect my collection value to have a bit of a chip in it. Basically, that's what I'm predicting it as of next month. But either way, yeah, nothing to catch up on. Everything's the same, so that makes my life a lot more easier. Yeah, I think we might as well go ahead and discuss what is the 6 cards that I've added on today's binder. So the first card I've added onto the investment binder of this month is the EV Black Star promo card from the Obsidian Flame Triple Blister Pack. This is actually a follow-up from my Aldi hunting video that I did. I'll pop it up on screen if you want to go ahead and check that out. It's quite a cool thing that I basically went around a lot of stores in Sheffield that day hunting for the the triple blister packs that they released across their store for £10. Ultimately, I managed to get a hold of the Obsidian Flame that contained the EV promo, and this is a slight twist of the rules. I'm not gonna lie, it is in the case of me not actually proactively buying this single card as itself as a standalone. I've just got it ripped off from the triple blister pack, but I've took away a £1 because that's how much usually you pick up these cards at. I'm sure anyone would know that, but also it's more of a curiosity thing. Like I mentioned before, I'm keen to see how well popular Pokemons do from Black Star promo sets in the long game, because we can see from previous stats, like I mentioned with the Umbreon from the Evolving Skies triple blister pack, that's only fluctuating around £4 to £5, and what that's now coming up to being almost 5 years old, but it's a 4-year-old set over there. So I'm curious to see the same with the Eevee, like how well will it do in the 20-year game that we're talking about over here, because that is the whole purpose of this investment binder. So it's nice to have a fresh pull one over there. Like I said, a lot of people know that they can pick it up for that price frame, so I'm sure everyone would understand given how far above and beyond I went for that actual one set of like content. But either way, we are in the tiny plus of £2 right now, and you have to also consider, by the way, is the delivery fee, because it doesn't take into account of that. Like a lot of people would have listed this up for £1, but then charge the 85p that roughly costs to send it off in a second class letter if you want it untracked. So that's why you're probably looking around this £2 area. That's why people are willing to pay that much for this EV Blackstar promo. But overall, these cards are worth about £1 if you picked it up from a person or from like a local TCG store, etc. But yeah, it's tiny little plus, but I do want people to obviously keep that in the back of their mind that eBay will include the prices of the delivery fee as well. Right, next up guys, we've got this absolute beautiful card over here of Pikachu. It is from the Paldea Evolved Elite Trainer box, and I actually got this for an absolute steal on an eBay bidding win. Check this out, flash it on screen, £7. Like honestly, that is insane. And you can see it over here that we're already in the plus, like we doubled the money. I'm starting to utilize bids a lot more. I'm not one of them people that have patience for bids, because I hate getting like outbidded last minute and I'm like waiting for a card. If I want something, I like it, I go and buy it. Like I don't want to wait around for it. But I know a lot of people find gems on bids, and this is one of them examples that you can pick up something for an absolutely incredible price. Paldea Evolved Elite Trainer box is obviously getting more and more difficult to find. There's a lot of pluses on this card. The reason why it's popped into the investment binder. Firstly, absolute cool little artwork. Obviously, it's got the three main star Pokemons like Fuecoco, Springagito from the new series of Horizons as well. That's by the way on Netflix, so that's going to help introduce a lot more like on younger audiences or even like old school fans like myself back into the hobby. Like there's genuinely like a bit of like curiosity, like well not even curiosity, there's a lot of like love in the air for Pokemon right now. So it's one of those things, I think, because you got to think about how the younger generation is going to grow up with Pokemon. They're going to see these three main starters, whilst I recognize Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander, etc. So all this I feel like will give a good like potential push for the card to obviously increase in value in the future, and the trajectory is going upwards. I think it's going to be one of those cards that will start to plateau after 2030, but up until that point of time, I'm quite sure we're going to be seeing an increase on the market. Right, next up guys, we've got the Mewtwo from the 151 Ultra Premium Collection boxes. This is one of the free Blackstar promo cards that you can get alongside this. This is actually came into my mind after someone on my comment section posted in regards to it and when they're watching this series. And it's one of those things I like bringing the community together. If you've got a card suggestion, I'm more than happy to go ahead and investigate it. Obviously, stick to the investment binder rules. It has to be below £100 and it has to be English, etc. But, you know, I'm more than happy to basically unite the community. That's the whole purpose of the series as well. So I wanted to include this Mewtwo because honestly, firstly, I do love this card. We got quite a few things to actually touch about this Mewtwo as well. But secondly, this is the important bit as well. Check this trajectory out. You can see it's been going upwards, but it cut it off around January because obviously we know Pokecard values is going through the update. If you click on the TCG player market, you can see it's worth more. And I actually paid £16 for this card, and I kid you not, that is the rough price for him right now. You can see it on eBay. That is what people want for this card. All three Blackstar promos from the Ultra Premium Collection boxes are increasing, just like the Charizard one from the Sword and Shield box as well. And I can imagine eventually the Terapagos, Lapras, Cinderace, and Terapagos itself will do this exactly the same. There is a bit of a slight disappointment on this card. When I got it, it was listed off as mint and near mint, but if I zoom in very, very closely, there's a slight little dink on the corner. It is basically never going to be a PSA 10 or even a 9. I would say it might be around the 8 area. It's tiny little intricate things like that knocks it massively. However, it's still worthy because obviously I am collecting near mint / mint cards. I'm trying to obviously make it be mint as possible. The others, kind of like it's a minor thing, but I paid 16 quid. 2 days later I got an offer for this card to get it on £15. I was like, oh, I missed out. So currently this will show us a bit of a decrease, but obviously once the updates is followed through, we will know that this card will be around the same price for him that I have paid it for. So again, like I mentioned, it's only going to go upwards, and it's one of those cards that we'll just have to keep an eye on very thoroughly in the future. Right, next up guys, we've got a copyright claim card over here. That's Smeagol. Lord of the Rings ain't too happy with that name. I'm joking. Although they should actually include a Pokemon that looks like Gollum. In saying that, though, they do actually have a Pokemon called Golem, so I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's not get off track. Look, okay, look, firstly, I got this card from a person at a local TCG store. I was just hanging around. Basically, there's a person over there that had a few single cards that they were selling around, and I wanted to get something cheap and cheerful. He was happy to let this go for £2, which is nice that you can, when you get talking to your local people at your TCG stores, this is one of those advantages that you have, because you can pick up something at a decent price and avoid the whole delivery fee. Yes, the card is roughly worth around the £1 to £2 area, but I'm taking a punt on this. Firstly, absolute cool artwork on this card. I don't think Smeagol over here is drawing any Pokemons, although someone in the comment section might know this. But secondly, we know the increase in illustration rares going on, and I gotta say, trainer galleries are some of the most uniquest design cards out over there. Like that Ditto, for example, on Crown Zenith, it's absolutely undervalued in my eyes. Like, I love the artwork on that Ditto, but trainer galleries don't seem to get as much love. However, don't forget, illustration rares a couple months ago weren't that expensive, and now some of them have gone absolutely shot up in value. So I'm taking the punt on trainer galleries being the same, and how can I say no for £2? At the end of the day, it's an absolute cool card. Even just on visual appearance, to add it onto the binder, I think it will do well. But in terms of actually seeing how well trainer galleries do on the long term, I've got some quite good confidence behind it. That is why it's added onto the binder. Right, next up, guys, we've got an absolute unit of a card over here. This is a pre-release promo card from Evolving Skies set, which obviously we know that prices is through the skies. But the Galarian Moltres over here, I got this as an absolute steal once again on eBay bid for £5. And literally, if you go on eBay, that this is the price for him you're looking around. If not, just slightly a bit more now as well, to be fair, because it's one of those things, cards are going obviously through the roof. Yeah, I'll be fair, I think this card's going to plateau again, once again, obviously on the 30th year anniversary. I think these cards will slowly plateau, and then eventually in the long game, I'm hoping it does really well. So that's the whole purpose of this. It's good to get like one of these pre-release promo cards, because naturally they do well over time frame. But again, it looks like bidding right now seems to be the way forward. And if any of you guys are in the comment section, let me know, do you mainly bid or do you mainly purchase cards outright? What do you think is better? And give your honest input in regards to it, because some of you guys have patience more than me. I'm trying to do a lot of things on content creation, trying to do all this and that on for my channels as well. So sometimes I'm like, trying to like balance everything out. But maybe it's one of those things I should just go on a mass bidding spree, and if I win some, I win some. If I lose some, I lose some. But give me some ideas. If you guys do this as like a tactical thing yourselves, it'll be nice to know in the comment section. So next up, guys, and this is the final one over here, I got this Rocket Zapdos from the Celebration set. This is actually something I picked up for £3, and yes, it's roughly around that price. If not, it's showing slightly a bit under, but the condition of the card's really good. I picked it up from a seller that I purchased some Wizard of the Coast Black Star promo cards beforehand, and I gotta say, the condition and the service is worth it for me to basically go ahead and obviously get this card as well, because I've actually, alongside it, I've made it tons of time aware, I am collecting mint copies of the Wizard of the Coast Black Star promo cards as my own personal collection. So when I luckily enough, when you're doing stuff like that, you kind of bump into that, sellers that you get used to on eBay. And I think it's one of those things, if you build up some good relationship to a supplier, I'm making it sound like it's a street deal, but yeah, look, if you get like a good to know basis, and you become like a regular customer, and you build some trustworthy relationships, then you can establish getting cards like this, and they know if you want it in the mintest and prestigious condition possible. So that is one of those like little tips. Like I always say, if you use the seller beforehand and they did well, save them, drop them a message, do the bulk buying as well, because they will obviously want to save some money in terms of like delivery fees, and also they get the whole money in one lump sum rather than bit by bit. I've always said that sort of tactic does work beforehand. But yeah, the Rocket Zapdos, not to like dwell into it too much, £3. I'm happy with this card. I love the legendary birds. It's one of my favorite sets of Pokemons. I love collecting them as well, and I gotta say, the celebrations I feel like would eventually do well, because obviously it's gonna have the whole nostalgia factor. If I got hold of the original card, obviously that would be a lot more better, but it's hard to find things in mint condition when you're talking years upon years old now, because not many people had top loaders back then or anything like that. So it's just one of those situations you gotta make do with what you got right now. Right, there we go, guys. We're all done and dusted over here. So yeah, we've actually now officially hit £200 that we spent on the collection binder, and obviously we're still in the plus, which is great. I do expect a tiny little dip in the future, I think at least in the next 2 months, because of obviously the single cards like are slowly starting to like decrease in value. We still got obviously the whole Destined Rival set coming out, so maybe that'll attract more fans in, and then the market will go once again on the up, obviously. And then we got the 30th year anniversary coming up, so I don't know. In fact, it's actually hard to predict. I'm making some predictions out over there, but when you think of these things in the back of your mind, then you never know with regards to this. Yeah, just share any thoughts and tips, any suggestions out over there. Like, I'm trying to utilize everything. I'm looking at local card stores. I'm talking to people in the hobby. I'm obviously looking at eBay with bids and buying outrights and speaking to sellers. I'm not sure what else I can do over here, but any thoughts and suggestions would be helpful. If you got any cards as well that you want to recommend onto this binder, then feel free to do so. I always like hearing inputs. In terms of that Steelix from Paradox Rift, yes, that is still living rent free in my mind. I just don't think I can get a decent price. I'm probably gonna have to shut up and pay up. Basically, it's one of those things. I think it's now around £20. And if you think about it, I could have got it like 2-3 months ago for £16. So I might just have to just go for it, because I do like Steelix as a Pokemon as well. Yeah, look, not to go on any further. Appreciate your time once again. Just do me a favor, hit that like button. In case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm cleaning my glasses. People probably wondering like, why is his hands moving down there? Just cleaning my glasses. Anyway, without me embarrassing myself any further, thank you once again. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.